Heilpern Show. BitMEX, the OG crypto derivatives platform and the best place to buy your Bitcoin.
Things really are just starting to heat up.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Layah Heilpern Show. We are doing an emergency update about FTX and the entire crypto crash that we've seen over the last 24 hours. And I have a very special guest who's going to give us his take on what is happening. But before I start the show, I do want to let you know that this is sponsored by the OG crypto derivatives exchange that now has a spot exchange, BitMEX. So if you are looking for a more reliable place to buy your cryptocurrency from and your Bitcoin, then I'm going to leave all the links for you in the description below. So there you go. That will be BitMEX. Now, before I bring my guest on, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a video. All right, guys, let's kick this off. Joining me today is crypto YouTuber, entrepreneur, and very successful trader. It's Carl Runefelt, or as everyone else knows him, it is the Moon Carl. Carl, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing okay, but if the market was better, I would be incredible.
I know. We were chatting earlier, and I think we agreed that this has to be probably one of the worst events that we've seen in crypto, probably worse than Mt. Gox. What is your take on what has just happened over the last 24 hours?
Yeah, so I agree with you here that like what's happened here in the past few days could have easily been an episode of the TV show Billions or any other like dramatic American TV series. You know, it's really, really it's mind-blowing, honestly. Like I made some live streams on my channel in the past couple of days, and many times I was sitting there like just speechless, like I don't even know what to say anymore. Like it's just so huge having the two biggest exchanges clashing like that, and it has major implications for us in crypto. Even if you didn't lose money in FTX, you're losing money all across the board. And even if you didn't, you're still like the damage and the reputational damage of crypto in general could have severe consequences for us for the next couple of years. So this definitely has the same kind of ring to it, like Mount Gox, Luna, Celsius. I would say FTX is way worse than Celsius, of course, and maybe even bigger than Luna. In terms of money, I think it's by far, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think the whole FTX thing is worth like 150 billion or something. Like we're talking about a lot of money that is just potentially just vanishing right in front of our eyes now. So it's crazy.
It is so crazy. And I think this has taken everybody, it's sort of been a shock because I feel like people trusted FTX. You know, they had Tom Brady backing them. They had the Bankman-Fried, which, you know, we all sort of trust and end up sort of, you know, doing an Alex Mashinsky on us.
Yeah, I'm very shocked. I've seen these things happen before, but that FTX would do this, that caught me by surprise, just like anyone else, I think. Fortunately, I didn't have money in FTX. I think I may have had a little bit, but like if it was probably nothing. But I could have I could have very easily had a few $1 million there because I have millions of dollars in different exchanges. So
yeah,
FTX would have definitely been an exchange I could have trusted with millions of dollars. Just like I trust Binance or Bybit or these other exchanges. So I think it's very scary that FTX went down because who's next? You know, that's the question. Like, because not people say that blockchain is very transparent, and it is true, but it's only transparent if the companies give you access to the actual wallets and if you have full insight into the balance sheet, which is not always the case. So in this case, I think that it wasn't always very transparent, maybe, and it seems like FTX in the background has been doing things that are simply immoral and very irresponsible. And as soon as the market turns, it becomes the Celsius effect, where it just goes to zero. So that's very, very sad.
Yeah, I think we should start asking these exchanges to, publicly show their balance sheet. I mean, I know Binance this morning actually just showed their proof of reserves and they're holding, billions. So, they sort of feel like they're going to be okay. Maybe that's what we have to do. But you said you didn't hold anything on FTX, but you don't have to tell me how much you have or haven't lost. But have you lost anything just in general with everything crashing, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, obviously? Like, have you lost much?
Biblical amounts, I would
Oh
say.
my God.
Yeah, I've lost more money than hundreds of people making hundreds of lifetimes. So I try to not think about it, but it is a lot of money. I've lost money that could have bought me big business, that bought me nice watches and cars, or even like skyscrapers, but I try to not think like that, because first of all, it's only a loss if you realize the loss. Second of all, money comes quickly and goes quickly. It comes and goes. I always, because throughout my like 5 years of crypto, 4 or 5 years, I've lost money many, many times. And back in the days when I lost like $10,000, for me, that was like insane. I thought, wow, I'm never going to recover. But in the next couple of years, I had one day I made like 100,000, so you lose money, but you can also make money. And I try to zoom out when these things happen and realize that as long as you have your health, as long as you have your mind, your mindset, and you're still, I mean, I'm young, you're young, like we have decades in front of us to make money. So I think that it's bad to stare blindly on the losses you make today, because you can easily make 10x that in the future. So but it should not go unsaid. I lost a lot of money.
Yeah, you're right. An abundance mindset. There's so much more money to make. And I think you're totally right. It's only a loss if you sell. I've lost like hundreds of thousands, but I haven't sold anything. So I'm just, holding tight, waiting for the next bull run, because I think, Bitcoin for sure is going back up. That's inevitable. So what is your biggest holding? Can you tell us what's, made you the most money in crypto so far?
My biggest holding is Bitcoin by far, when it comes to my like liquid cash, which I would of course say it's all crypto. It's no actual cash, but then I have my net worth is also locked up in like equity or just company valuations. But if you talk about only my liquid cash reserves, it's like 80% Bitcoin, maybe 10% or 15% maybe Ethereum, and then like 5-10% other coins. Right now, at the top of the bull market, it was very different, because I've invested in 400 crypto startups, and at the very top of the bull market, there were some pretty crazy returns where for example, like every now and then I put like maybe $20,000 in a project, and at the very top, at the peak of the chart, it could be worth 6 million, 7 million. I had a few of those examples where I invested in Star Atlas, for example. I put like $15,000 at the top. It was like $4 million. So I had some crazy months where their valuations skyrocketed. But as we all know, these times are over since a long time now, and most of that value is gone. But I'm happy that I actually did take some profits out of these investments, at least, so I recovered my initial and made some on top of that. But in the bull market, there's a time to make money. Now is the time to build and save and invest cautiously. I don't spray and pray anymore. That's for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I'm buying right now is Bitcoin. I wouldn't touch anything else, especially not Ethereum. Only Bitcoin. So can you talk to us about where the major support is? I know $17,000 was obviously a major support. We broke that, although we have bounced. But where is the major support? And do you think that we're going lower, or do you think we actually already hit the bottom at, I think it was $15,500?
Well, I've always said that. So on my YouTube channel, when I make my technical analysis, I always say these things like, if this, then that. So basically, I've told my audience that if Bitcoin breaks below this like $18,000 support, 19, 18,000, then that is with a very high likelihood going to lead to a drop down to 13 to 11K. And I have no reason to like change that now. Like we broke down to 17, 16, even touched the higher 15s there. So it looks like Bitcoin is heading down towards testing the 13 to 11K region. Is that guaranteed? No, but it really seems like that, because the trend is your friend. That's like technical analysis 101. If the trend is going down, it is way likelier that the trend continues down at any point in time rather than randomly reversing. That said, there will be a reversal at some point, but we need to find the signs and clues for it. For example, it could be a double bottom pattern. That's like one of the best reversal patterns, or a big, beautiful falling wedge, or something that makes us go back up. Or like the best thing would be maybe like an inverse head and shoulders. I love to see those break back up. But right now we have nothing like that. So no hope in the next couple of weeks for now.
Oh man, I definitely think we're going lower as well. I just think that times are so crazy right now. There's all these weird things happening behind the scenes. You know, we didn't know that Sam Bankman-Fried and, you know, FTX's balance sheet, we didn't know they were insolvent. So there's all these weird things happening, and I just don't think we're done. I do agree. I think 13,000, 14,000 is definitely likely. Out of interest, have you ever met Sam Bankman-Fried? And either way, what do you think of him?
I never met Sam. I did meet CZ many times, but Sam, I don't have a big opinion about him. I just always thought he looks like a nerd, like a computer nerd. I think he played World of Warcraft his whole life. But as a professional, I think he is definitely, you know, a genius, I would say. But you know, I don't really have like an opinion about him. I didn't like when he was like talking too much about regulation and stuff. So I guess that was not so nice.
Yeah, he pushes a lot of DeFi and regulation generally. You know, Bill Clinton was speaking at his event in the Bahamas. He actually gave the second biggest donation to Biden's presidential campaign. A lot of people say that he's sort of the establishment's puppet. I actually saw last night that FTX are part of the World Economic Forum. What's your take? Do you think he could be some kind of like puppet of the establishment, or is this just another day in crypto?
Yeah, you know what? I must say I really don't have a good idea about Sam Bankman-Fried. I think that when it comes to FTX, Binance, these massive exchanges, it seems a little bit naive to think that there's no governments involved somehow, because there's so much power in those exchanges. Look at Binance. Like, it's maybe one of the biggest companies in the world, if not maybe the biggest at the top of the bull market in terms of, you know, valuation, power, and everything. So it's safe to assume that there are big actors and players that are looking at these companies, and they want to have their say and their piece of the pie, and maybe control them. So I think that there's definitely something there. And I mean, if Sam is in World Economic Forum, if he's there, like, yeah, it sounds like there could be some secret rooms there. I've been there myself, but only as like a spectator, not as an invited you know, reptile or something.
How was it when you went?
Well, I was not invited officially, so it was very tough for me to get into like the crazy places. But I was able to sneak into certain places where I could see the CEO of, like, you know, Goldman Sachs and these people walking around there. It was a little bit crazy, and this was way back, by the way, when I just had my YouTube channel. I had like, I don't know, 30,000 subscribers. I was really like, you know, a nobody up there, but I was walking around there. Well, these crazy people, you know, all the craziest billionaires and like celebrities of the world are in Davos once a year, you know. So that was interesting, but to get invited to the secret rooms there, I think you really have to be really involved in the dark secret rooms.
Oh yeah, I don't think I'd go even if I got an invitation. Would you go?
I think I would. Yeah, it would be
Oh,
hard
you
to
would?
pass on it. Yeah, I want to see what they say when we're not listening, when we can, you know. But that's the thing. I don't think I would be invited because it's way too secret. They're controlling the world from there.
Yeah, I'm with you. So in terms of crypto, then, what coins are you most bullish on long term, and what do you look at? How do you make that decision?
I'm most bullish on Bitcoin long term. That's always going to be the case for me. It doesn't matter who has the craziest best idea, or even if I have my own companies. Like, Bitcoin will out survive any one of us, all of us, forever. So if you want to take low risk while still being able to make money, just put your money in Bitcoin and keep it there, hold it there forever. And that's the only recommendation I can always do without feeling bad, without
Yeah.
feeling like someone might lose. However, it's also very important that people that buy Bitcoin hold it, because some people, they buy and as soon as it goes down 50%, they sell. The key is to buy and hold for at least the next cycle, which means that you always have to hold at least 4 years based on these 4-year cycles. Then it's like very, very, very hard to lose.
Yeah, that's exactly my play right now. I'm so down, so I'm just holding until we're back up. So how long do you think this bear market is going to last?
I think at least 2 years now, we're going to have a pretty tough, boring time, I think. That's just based on the previous cycles, and based on the fact that markets go up and down, and sometimes we have to suffer for a while to deserve the next bull market. And yeah, so 2 years, I think. And yeah, I'm prepared for that. I lost a lot of money. My burn rates are higher now than they were, or they're not higher, but percent wise they're higher now, percentage wise. So but this is business. That's how it works. And you just have to keep building, keep investing, just more cautiously and more responsibly. And then competition goes out, which is great, because then there's less competitors and then you can actually grow faster. This is something Binance is doing now, as you can see. Binance going absolutely crazy. And speaking of Binance, I am a little bit actually like scared of how large Binance will become in this bear market, because they are the only ones who have like disgusting amount of money. So they can just go out there and like buy and acquire, and they grow even more. So they grow more in the bear market than in the bull market, actually, because of the market share they're taking over now. And in the next bull market, they will, honestly, they might be like twice the size of Amazon soon. Who knows? Like, it's really scary, because it becomes a monopoly. And I mean, I love competition and capitalism, so I think everyone should have their own, so in a way, it's fair that Binance is doing it, because it's just the market, right? But it's also scary, because having someone controlling the whole market like that, it's the opposite of what decentralization is supposed to be, right? So then we have one company, Binance, controlling all of crypto. Maybe soon they have like 90% of the market. And if you think about it, if that becomes reality, then there is one central authority that can be very easily manipulated. Governments can come in and immediately control the whole crypto space, because they control Binance. And then that becomes a risk for the whole space, because regulators and governments can come in and take control very easily, because there's one central authority to regulate. And I think that's very sad and scary. But I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I mean, regulators must come in and look at this now and see that they want to do something.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. That was actually one of my concerns with FTX, because FTX obviously bought so much. They were buying BlockFi, they were buying up, Web3 and all these different things. So that was my concern with them. And then I was concerned that Binance were going to buy FTX and then own everything FTX owns. And then you have these massive monopolies. But I don't know. Look, I mean, this is such a bad sort of mindset, but because it's all about being trustless, but I kind of trust CZ, which is also really bad. You shouldn't put your trust in one central place. But I just don't know. Ultimately, all you can do is, just encourage people not to leave their keys on it.
Yeah.
Go on,
I mean,
sorry.
exactly. So I also, like, in a way, I trust Binance, I trust CC, because they're too big to like screw me over, right? They wouldn't do that. But I would have also said the same about the FTX, to be honest. But who knows? Like, when CZ and Binance is massive there, and then the governments come in, like, doesn't matter how much you trust CZ if he has no choice. What if
Correct. Yeah.
regulators come in and say, like, you have to comply with this, otherwise we shut you off in Europe, or we shut you off in US, or we shut you off, and then maybe he just feels like the pressure is too high, and then immediately he complies with regulators and with governments, and the little guy gets screwed over. I mean, this is possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but like, sure, CZ's probably a great guy. I met him, like I said, in real life. We've been talking, we've been following each other for a couple of years. I really like the guy. Like, we've been having great discussions and great conversations. So I would never say anything bad about him. I'm just saying that, like, governments are very powerful, and if they come knocking on the door, like, I'm sure things can change pretty quickly,
Just really quickly, as you were speaking, Sam Bankman-Fried has just done a thread, which I just want to bring up right now. He's tweeting live.
Bring it up.
I think he's just apologized. Hang on. Wow, it's a 20-page thread. Oh my God, let me scroll up. Here we go. He says, "I'm sorry, that's the biggest thing. I fucked up and should have done better. I also have been communicating more very recently. Transparently, my hands were tied during the duration of the possible Binance deal. I wasn't particularly allowed to say much publicly, but of course it's on me and that we ended up here in the first place." There's 20 of these. I'll just read one more before we get into it. So here's an update on where things are. This is about FTX International, the non-US exchange FTX users, blah, blah, blah. FTX International currently has a total market value of assets collateral higher than client deposits. But that's the difference from liquidity delivery. As you can tell from the state of withdrawals, liquidity varies widely. Okay, we'll have to read this later, but this is crazy. So he's broken the silence, basically. He's broken the silence. I mean, this is nuts.
It is mad. And he seems to be taking on all the responsibility, right? That's what he
says. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I feel like this totally could have been avoided. But anyway, I'll read more of that in a bit. I also wanted to get your take, though, on Ethereum proof of stake versus proof of work. Ethereum's obviously had the merge. What's your take on the merge? Are you still bullish on Ethereum at all? Which do you prefer, proof of stake or proof of work?
To be perfectly honest with you, like, I wouldn't be the guy to like talk too much about like the technicals of Ethereum. I am very bullish on Ethereum because of the market share Ethereum has, and the amount of track record and the amount of apps built there, the developers working on it. If proof of work or proof of stake is the best, to be perfectly honest with you, like, there are pros and cons with both, and I couldn't tell you. I would have to trust the computer nerds to kind of advise me on that. But I'm very excited about this kind of experiment, almost, I guess we could call it, going from proof of stake work to stake, and see how that impacts the fundamentals, but also the price, because of course theoretically the price should go up from here, but people expected an immediate price increase, but these things doesn't happen like that. It's more about like the next 1-2 years, I would say. Just like when central banks change interest rates, you don't see the effect immediately. It takes usually 1 to 2 years for the actual economic effect to take place, or at least that's how the theory goes, and historically it has been. So I think this could potentially lead to just a very, very strong Ethereum in the next bull market against Bitcoin and against other competitors potentially. But I'm not expecting Ethereum to necessarily outperform anything else right now. That's not what I see.
Okay, so Carl, I hate to do this, but I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Where do you think Bitcoin is going to be 5 years from now, and where do you think Ethereum is going to be 5 years from now? We won't hold you to this.
Okay, Bitcoin will be worth more than $1 million 5 years from now. Ethereum, it's very tough. I really don't know. I would have to just say something random that I don't even have so much, but logically, if Bitcoin goes to $1 million, I would have to say that Ethereum, it could easily be between $10,000 to $20,000, something like this. But Bitcoin being above $1 million, I'm actually quite confident in. Still, I've been saying it for multiple years now, but now I'm still holding to that.
Damn, greener days are truly coming. That would be, I think everyone could really use that. So out of interest, how did you actually make most of your money and your success? Was it through trading or simply holding Bitcoin in the early days?
It's actually a big mix of many different things. But some people think I only made it from hold Bitcoin from low or only from trading. But actually, it's a very big mix of many things. In the very beginning, it actually started with my YouTube channel. I started some small trading, some small investing. I started my YouTube channel. I started talking publicly about crypto. Led to me building a small capital from different affiliate partnerships and so on. And this capital is what I used for my trading, for my investments, and then I made a lot of money from investing in startups. I invested in over 400 crypto startups, and that was obviously a very, very aggressive thing. But in the bull market, it really works, because everything is pumping. So I invested probably in, let's say 80% of all the things I invested in are probably going to go to zero at some point, because it's not possible that all of them are surviving. Just like back in the dot-com bubble, if you invested in 100 dot-coms, probably 90% of them are now worthless pieces of just dot-coms that are nothing. But chances are you got Amazon, Google, Facebook, and these things, So that's basically what I'm doing. So I have a bunch of tokens just waiting for a green day in the future, and I'm holding some of them for the next 5 years. But I made some money from that. I also am a very large liquidity provider in centralized and decentralized exchanges. So I provide liquidity, and I make a lot of money from essentially having money. That's like one good thing about having money. You can actually make money from just having money.
Amazing.
And yeah, and I have my own companies as well, which make anything from low revenue to high revenue. Right now it's a bear market, so it's of course way less now. But in the next bull market, I'm expecting some good returns on those as well. So, but yeah, as you can hear, it's like a big mix of many, many different things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And obviously, I know you trade. So, do you day trade? Do you swing trade? And also, what kind of temperament do you need to be a trader? I know some people are there up all night staring at the screens and don't say more than 2 words to people a day. Like, what kind of temperament do you need?
First of all, I was never a day trader. That was not for me because I have too much ADHD, which means that I
Hmm.
cannot sit down and like focus for too long. I need a more passive way of trading, and then swing trading has been my way of trading, at least back, you know, in the beginning of my career up until like a couple of years ago. I was doing a lot of swing trading. It's been way less lately because I have a lot of things on my plate. I am focusing a lot on my companies, my investments. I have actually at this very moment probably still 140 employees, so I have a lot of things on my mind. So trading is less of a business. I still do it, but it's not like my main income anymore. But when I do trade, it's only swing trading. I put a trade and I let it sit there for at least a couple of days, up to like 2 weeks, even sometimes, So it's more about waiting for trades. And sometimes it can be 2-3 weeks where I don't even have a trade open because I don't really see a point.
Yeah.
So I don't sit in front of the charts all day like this, because it's just like, poker players. Like if you're gonna be a proper like poker player and like sit there with like these cash games, like then you need to grind like 6 hours a day just sit in cash game like this. That's the day trader. The
Crazy.
the tournament players can do tournaments every now and then maybe. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that's a good
Yeah, it
um
makes sense. Yeah, no,
kind of.
I think it makes perfect sense. You were actually once a cashier in Sweden, and now you moved to Dubai, living the high life. So, can you tell me about your beginnings and how you actually got into crypto in the first place?
Yeah, so I think it's an interesting story because, as you said, only 4 years ago, I was still working in a grocery store as a cashier in Sweden, and I actually, I think it was the 18th of November,
Wow.
2018. So, in 8 days, it's my 4-year anniversary of quitting my grocery store job. Um,
Congratulations. That's exciting.
That is crazy, actually, because people that know me today, they actually cannot even believe it that it's true, because they know me as this entrepreneur, with my Bugatti, flying private jets. Like they cannot imagine that only 4 years ago I was still in a grocery store in Sweden. But the crazy thing is that I've learned that anything is possible. And
Mm.
it comes down to the mindset and the law of attraction. And I talk a lot about this on my other channel, my Carl
Yeah.
Runefeld channel, which is more like a lifestyle vlog channel, because sometimes when I get bored of crypto, I want to go and talk about like other things. And then I talk about mindset and law of attraction. And if to make it very simple, um, everything around us, our reality is actually just energy. Um, Everyone who has a little bit of like a basic understanding of quantum physics will know that if you go down to the smallest part of reality, like the atoms, and even within the atoms, you will find that there's nothing there. It's just strings of vibrational energy. It's almost like the universe is just like a big orchestra of vibrating strings of energy. And when you understand this, then you can learn to, in a way, change your reality by changing your internal energy, because you are also energy. All of us are energy. Your thoughts are energy, your words are energy, your body is energy, your whole being. So the law of attraction, very simply, states that like attracts like, in a
Mm-hmm.
pretty simple way. So if you think rich thoughts and happy thoughts and imagine yourself in certain environments, then that energy will attract that materially. So I know that it sounds like this is too easy to be true, but it is completely 100% true. I'm a living proof of that, because how can you otherwise go from cashier to this insane like lifestyle just in such a short period of time if there is not a little bit of magic involved, And I truly believe in the law of attraction. I feel like I'm a perfect example. And it's quantum physics. Like the world we live in is just a hologram, just like this key here. It
Yeah.
doesn't actually exist in any other form than just code or information. It's just information that our five senses decode into something that we perceive as solid and real, but it's actually not real. It's just information. Just like in a computer game, if you play GTA or The Sims, if you have a car or a house within the game, it's not really there, right? It's just ones and zeros. It's just computer code. But with the computer interface and all of the motherboards and whatever electrical circuits, it actually decodes the nonsense information, or the perceived nonsense information, into something that makes sense to our eyes. The world works exactly the same. So yeah, that's the law of attraction. And I was visualizing. Actually, I have a very good example of this. Look, 2 days ago, I was doing some spring cleaning, and I found all of my old iPhones.
Oh, wow.
And this phone is an iPhone 6 that I had when I was working in a grocery store in Sweden. And the most interesting thing is the background image, which is a point of view of
It's gone
a
off.
private
But
jet.
yeah, yeah.
You can see, right?
Amazing. Yeah, yeah.
So I was in the grocery store making what, like $1,500 per month, but I
Wow.
changed my background image to this private jet. And I'll show you also another thing in here. I was also crazy enough to download. I don't know if you can see it, but this app, Jet Smarter, it's like a Uber for private jets. But I was
Okay.
working in a grocery
That's
store,
amazing.
you to and the funny thing, I even went so far that I registered an account, and I even asked for quotes, how much for me to fly from Sweden to France, and then quoted me like $20,000, and I made like not even that in 1 year. But I did it because I wanted to imagine myself like as if I was already wealthy enough to
Sure.
do that. And I was literally a cashier. And I told my friends I was doing this. They thought I was stupid, crazy. But now, actually, every other week I'm flying private jets as if that's just like normal for me. So it's it is crazy how it works. Like I really think that something simple like this
Yeah.
helped attract this reality. And this is just one example. I did many things, like my Bugatti. I visualized it. I visualized freedom. I visualized traveling. I visualized happiness. So many things. Like everything started with just an idea in my mind. I started visualizing it every day. I started telling myself every day things like, I I fly private jets, or I have this much money, or I am happy, I am successful, I am extraordinary. If you tell yourself these things day over day, then you will reprogram your subconscious into actually believing these things.
Mm.
It's just like how propaganda works. If you repeat
Yes.
a lie over and over, eventually you start believing it.
Mm.
This has been tried by governments for decades, and it's still happening today. Um, but you can also propaganda yourself, and it works actually. You can start believing that you're rich and that you're happy, and then it becomes true because the universe will answer your energy.
That's so beautiful. That's so fascinating. I also do believe in the law of attraction. There's a lot of different things which I've been able to manifest, but I'm interested. So is it just like a daily thing? You'll just like say certain things? Do you write it down? Do you like meditate on it and visualize, or is it as simple as just sort of like, changing the background on your phone and just sort of acting as if, downloading the app?
Mhm.
Like practically, what does it look like?
So I do not do a lot of meditation. I want to start doing that, but I must admit that this is something I don't do much. But I really do believe in meditation. What I have done though is that my very first steps was I wrote down my goals on like a piece of paper. I also every time before I went to bed, I always just closed my eyes and I literally told myself like, I'm rich, I'm happy, I'm extraordinary. I have this, I have that. I make this much money. I have this much money. Just whatever came to my mind. Like 2 minutes every night, I said things over and over, and every night I came up with new things, but just said things that made me feel like, yeah, this is what I want to be. So I just said it, but I always said it as if it's already true. So you should never say I want this new car. You should always say I have this new car, or I have this thing, or I am this. I am successful. And so this I did for like a long time, and then eventually, like 1.5 years later, I started to see my life change. But it's an ongoing process because, of course, as soon as I started making like $10,000 a month, that was already a huge number for me. That was like life changing. That meant I am free. I can travel
Yeah.
to whatever I want. But I always upped my goals because I thought if I can reach $10,000 a month from working in a grocery store, then where's the limit? I'm sure there's no limit. I can just go crazy. So I've been going literally crazy. Like when people hear my
Amazing.
plans and my ideas, they think I'm insane. I need a mental hospital or something. But I think that's almost needed. You have to be crazy enough to believe that these things are possible, to actually be able to attract it, because that's how the universe works. I think people, they believe in the wrong things. They believe in the propaganda from the government that you're just a slave to society, that you have to go to school and then you have to work for someone your whole life with something that you don't even want to work with. you know
For sure.
People think that's how life is supposed to live, and if you think so, if you believe that, then you will attract more of that reality, and that's very sad. So fortunately, I was able to break free from the notion of what's normal and what's supposed to be, and I'm crazy enough to believe in the unthinkable. And it looks like you're the same, because you're also very successful. You're doing crazy things, and I can see that you're very successful with your own personal brand and your social media and everything. So I'm sure you're just as crazy as me. And I mean, we are the people that will be there to be able to inspire people, and that's what I try to do now on a daily basis: inspire people to do the same. I'm trying to go more and more into that rather than just crypto, because I think that the mindset and like these kind of things, law of attraction, it really means so much more than just crypto, because you can apply it to anything: money, relationships, happiness, health, whatever it is. You can really change your life. So yeah, but now I went off on a tangent. But
No, it's
um,
good. No, it's great. It's great. I think what you've done is amazing. And no, I totally agree with you. I actually used to have a book that I used to write in, and I'd write it as if I had already achieved something. And then 2 years later, I reread the book and I was like, damn, I got that and more, which is truly crazy. No, I think it's so great to inspire people, because people often don't realize that there's so much more than just a 9 to 5. They don't realize that you really don't have to work that hard to live a good life. You just need to work very smart, and know people. So people don't always realize that.
Yeah.
So how's living in Dubai? What's it like? I know the rest of the world seems to be crumbling. It seems to be going really woke and really weird, but Dubai seems to be, the center of where it's all happening. What's it like living in Dubai?
Well, when it comes to crypto, it is by far the fastest growing market. I think it's really crazy how much crypto businesses are coming here. We have, Binance, even FTX. Ironically, got a license like 5 days ago in UAE. So that went well. That was a quick 5 days. But so we have FTX, Bybit. Many of the big exchanges are coming here, setting up headquarters here. I have my headquarters here. This is my office. I have many employees, and many of them are in Dubai. And I want to inspire more and more of my employees to actually come to Dubai, because I think that Dubai is the future of crypto, for sure. And then the safety here is just absolutely
I keep
so,
hearing.
yeah, because I have had some incidents around the world where safety has been an issue, especially when you're a public person, when you're known for being wealthy, especially in crypto. It's like the worst nightmare you can think of, famous, wealthy in crypto, because everyone knows that crypto, like, it's not money in a bank. Like, people, they think they can just like go up to me and say, yeah, send me some Bitcoin.
Uh-huh.
So protection is very, very key for me. So I have bodyguards everywhere I go in the world. If I travel with, I never travel with anything expensive. I leave everything in Dubai. But I don't like this. I don't want to have to change my life too
Yeah.
much. And this is the downside of being well known, by the way. So, um, yeah, it's just like something I have to deal with. I actually never visualized fame, by the way. This is something that came just as a business. I actually never really wanted to be famous, to be honest. Um, Not true. 7, 8 years ago, I actually wanted to be a famous musician. I remember this.
Nice.
But with crypto, it was always more just, I just love Bitcoin. I love crypto, and the YouTube channel and stuff was more just like an idea of like, let's see if I can make money and make a business out of this. But being famous was actually never a goal. I never had this as a goal, but now I am famous and I have to just deal with that. There's upsides and
Yeah.
downsides. It's good for networking, but it's also like, I mean, you're also famous, right? So I guess you're also seeing the upsides and downsides with it. There's pros and cons with everything, but for business, it's good for sure.
Yeah, I think I actually tweeted and you replied to it the other day about when you're famous, people don't see you as human anymore, and so they don't treat you as human. Like
Yeah.
they can't associate, they can't like relate to you anymore, so they don't treat
Yeah.
you as human. Like I was in a bar the other night, and some guys, they knew me, and well, they knew me from online. They didn't actually know me,
Mm,
so they came up to me to speak with me, which was fine. But they started like touching my back, my shoulder, and I'm like,
mm,
hang on, we don't know each other. Like, stop touching me, So yeah, it is weird. And I do keep hearing that Dubai is really, really safe. Like the law and order there is good. So
yeah. It's amazing. And some people, they say that, oh, it's because they chop off your hands if you do something bad.
yeah, that's what I keep hearing.
But I'm not sure if that's true, because first of all, I never heard anyone getting their hands chopped off. I don't
Okay.
think that's actually happening. And second of all, I think it's just a great mix of cultures here for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how it works, but for some reason, the culture here is just, you don't screw people over, you don't steal things. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's also not really true, because there's a lot of scammers here, unfortunately. Like in crypto, there's a lot of scammers here, unfortunately. And this is something that it's just the price you have to pay for allowing all crypto to come in here. In crypto,
Mm,
there's a lot of scammers. We all know this, right? But in terms of like actual like violence and theft, you don't see that at all.
Amazing.
That's amazing. So I can walk around with my watch. I can walk around with like alone. Women can walk around alone in the middle of the night anywhere here. It's all fine. It's
Wow.
completely safe, and that's unheard of in Europe, for example. In Europe, you can't. It's very dangerous actually in Europe, and I've seen that firsthand. And I have many examples of friends getting like guns to their heads, and it's really
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
not walking around by myself alone anywhere. Maybe Dubai.
yeah. Where are
That's
you based,
insane.
by the way?
I'm in Miami right now.
Okay, I heard Miami is also pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it is. I mean, where I am, I feel perfectly safe, but yeah, I wouldn't walk alone at night. It's not like London, but
Mm.
yeah, it's Miami. It's America. America is not safe at all.
Yeah, yeah. Everything. Most countries are going to shit right now. I think it's just the global trend, and we just have to deal with that and
Yeah,
adjust and
Dubai
adapt.
might be Dubai might be my next stop. I'm not sure. I'll have to see.
Yeah.
But do you have any final words of wisdom on these bloodbath days? How can we lift people's spirits, and also how can people follow you and stay up to date with your journey and everything that you're doing?
Yeah. First of all, I think that look at the long term. Like I said, money goes, money comes, money goes. You lose some, you win some.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of money back in the days, but I made everything back later. So don't be. I mean, if people knew how much money I've lost in different things, like either to scams or to an exchange breaking down or like some DeFi protocol breaking, these things have happened to me. I've lost so much money that in the moment I felt like I just wanted to cry and just like feel like everything is over and like how am I ever gonna come back from this? But every single time I came back from it and I realized that money is just money. Um,
Mm,
literally it's just money. Like it doesn't really it shouldn't control you. It should only enable you in times when you have an abundance of it. And if you have an abundance mindset, then money will always have a way of coming to you. So don't lose your mindset. If you lose your mindset, that's when you truly break down. That's when you lost it all. So
yeah.
keep your mindset. That's no one can ever take that away from you, even if they take all your money, your house, to take everything. Your mindset is key. Um, so that's number one. My socials, like I have my YouTube channel, The Moon, where I do crypto analysis. I have my vlog channel called Runefeld, which is this name right there, where I try to inspire people to live their best possible life possible, become their most extraordinary version of themselves. I
Amazing.
do that by bragging about all the expensive stuff I'm buying, yeah, I'm really trying to do it to inspire people. And on Twitter, the Moon Carl. I make crypto tweets about stuff. Sometimes some shit posting. Sometimes I provide value. But yeah, that's what I do. But I want to give you a shout out. You've done a great job. I can see that you're growing very fast. I think you're doing YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, and I can see your videos popping up all the time nowadays. You're really
Amazing.
doing a good job.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like in this world, which is just crumbling, taking matters
Yeah.
into your own hand is sort of like the only thing we can do. But I want to thank you so much for coming on. It's been such a pleasure hearing about your story, hearing your take on what's going on right now. And everyone, please go and follow Carl, especially on Instagram as well, because I love that law of attraction mindset. I love everything you're doing there. I think that's really inspiring.
Are you focusing
So thank you
on
so
like
much.
you're focusing on like Instagram or crypto because you're doing crypto content. That's how I knew you from before. Like I've
Yeah.
seen your stuff for like 2 years, I think. But now you're focusing also a little bit on your like personal brand, right? Like I can see, I love your Andrew Tate videos. Very funny with asking people on the street.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was just, oh my God, that's honestly the most uncomfortable experience because just by the way,
Yeah,
every time I go up to someone and ask them what they think about Andrew
yeah,
Tate, they think because I'm like a sweet female, I'm
yeah,
gonna like agree with them.
yeah,
And then like you can see it in their eyes that they're just like it just changes.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm sort of like, yeah, focusing on just general kind of like freedom and empowerment and sort of leaving the matrix, whether it's like financially, spiritually, personally, relationship wise, just everyone just needs to do better and kind of reject tradition, reject like everything the system is teaching you. That's kind of what the route I'm going down, if that makes sense.
That's amazing. Yeah, but you should come to Dubai. I think this is the place to be. I mean, if you want to grow even more, like you're gonna become even more, like you should be somewhere where it's more safe, I think. And there's so much crypto stuff happening here. I mean, I'm here. All of the other like crypto, men of the crypto. I know Andrew Tate has moved here as well. Many people are here. I think this is going to be the center of the world in the future. When everything else falls, I think Middle East is gonna rise.
Right.
That's just what I think. That's just what I think.
I totally agree. I might come over Christmas. I'll have to see, play it by ear, see what I'll do. But I want to thank you so much for coming on. It's been such a pleasure. Everyone, please, if you're not already, follow Carl and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And we will see you all next week. Bye-bye. The Layah Heilpern Show.